Give them a shot to do what?
All right, we're live, HSP on the Give Us a Shot Network. Saturday night's main event is in the books. Trendsetter time. Boy, we have got a lot to discuss here. I'm Jeff Amar alongside the Trendsetter Brian Burga on the Give Us a Shot Network. We are here with the Saturday night main event post show on the Give Us a Shot Network. Make sure you download and subscribe and follow us on all our social media, High Spot Podcast. And if you can't watch us, listen to us on all podcast platforms. If you can't watch HSP, you can definitely listen to it. Trendsetter, man, Saturday night's main event. We talked about this from the onset, dude. There was the fear everyone was talking about. No, there's not going to be no commercials and stuff like that. There really weren't any commercials. But, man, again, 4 matches. Usually there was like 5, but it's not a PLE. It's this event. And I just, again, the prices that they charge and the numbers didn't really turn out well for WWE that they thought in Utah, the Delta Center, and this is what they got. They ended up not getting a show that sold out, but they didn't get any, a lot of people there for a CM Punk victory. And I don't know, dude. It's just so like, I mean, yes, CM Punk won, so I guess you got your money's worth. But this show, I mean, there's a lot to discuss, a lot to dissect, Trendsetter, here with just what everything went to. We'll start off with CM Punk, though. But just did you get a feel like it was a big time, can't miss Saturday night's main event, Trendsetter? You got the World Series on. You've got college football. It's definitely not going to do a good number as far as people watching it live. But I don't know, man. Today was just one of those days where I was like, I thought we got past WrestlePalooza, but then we have this, and it's just, I don't know. I just have no words right now to what we just saw. Yes, congratulations, CM Punk, but I don't know. I mean, maybe we can find the words here in the next 45 minutes or so, but good to be here on the post-show live. Trendsetter, your thoughts on tonight's events?
Listen, I don't think I have the thesaurus enough with the words to describe what I had just seen here. To answer your question, though, when you talk about was the anticipation built for this, right? I like to think that WWE tried their hardest, but I think they tried a little too much, meaning that we're getting stories into this Saturday night's main event, which honestly, in my opinion, felt forced. And I'll start off right off the bat with the first match. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about in detail, but the match that started off the show was CM Punk. Sorry, CM Punk. I'm already thinking way ahead, which was Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre. I just felt the whole story going into it was so forced. We're using old shticks in terms of the American Dream and talking about Dusty Rhodes. I'm like, come on, man. I thought we've gone past that scenario. I can't say I was surprised, though, because, I mean, first of all, for 4 matches, unbelievable that arena was even too near capacity. God bless those people in terms of what they're getting paid to be able to watch or attend a show like that. But a lot of the storylines I felt were forced. None of it built, in my opinion, anticipation for it. And the whole night ended up just being a block. I mean, you wanted to start off the show on fire with Cody and Drew McIntyre in a storyline that really didn't live up to it. But, I was willing to look past that, Jeff, saying, it's Drew and Cody. They've always had good chemistry. They've always had good matches. But this one, in my opinion, was a dud. It was, obviously blown spots in the match we can talk about. I'm not going to nitpick about that as well because it happens. But, man, just a blah match going into this. And if that was going to kick off your show, the rest of the show kind of fell on the same ears in terms of just not living up to par. But yeah, not surprised. It's going to happen, but you would think you're building up to a Saturday night's main event. You'd think you'd build up more anticipation. It felt forced, and it felt like WWE was trying way too much to make this more important than what it really was. And, another dudder for
another dudder. Oh, yeah, Trendsetter. I mean, we'll get to Drew and Cody. Obviously, that match opened it up, but CM Punk wins the World Heavyweight Championship, his 8th championship, as they said on the show to close it. The crowd loved it. Obviously, they're going to go home happy. But the first thing I think about here is, man, Jey Uso. Jey Uso to me looked blown up. He was out of sorts, and he definitely looked out of shape. And I'm going to call him out on this because I give him the benefit of the doubt. I mean, you're not supposed to be, I get it, but if Roman can do it, you guys can do it too, right? He just looked blown up. He looked 20 pounds overweight. He just was not. I don't know if it's just the schedule, the hecticness of just life. I know people have life outside of this, but it just to me it was just did not gel a lot. You can see CM Punk frustrated in one of those neck breakers. They did the spot over again, but then CM Punk kind of kicks him in the back of the head, kind of like wake up Jay. And obviously that had to be frustrating for Punk. Punk, obviously Punk is a little bit more, a little older, right? But again, it just did not look like a crisp match. I know Punk tried to do his best, but I mean they just kind of when somebody looks tired and it makes the other person look tired, no matter how much you're trying. And maybe this match maybe is a C, but I'm calling out Jey Uso here because Jey Uso, you're better than that, man. I mean, a lot of people when you go back to the documentary of WWE Unreal, and they made a point to say that can we trust Jay because he gets blown up, or after the entrance he expends himself a lot to get to the ring. But there's no excuse here. Now it's like physically you can see him look a little bit out of shape. Not a little bit, like I would say, like again, it's showing there. The love handles, the man handles, however you want to say it. You could see them. Not Jay's best. And we're talking about, does this take him out of the title picture? For sure, in my eyes, I think it does for a while, at least until the end of this year. And it's just very disappointing because I don't know what is up with Jay, but he definitely needs to change something up because ever since Jimmy came back and Roman's trying to get in his ear, I don't know whether they're going to go with the heel side because he's making way too much money for the company as a face side. So that's a little bit of uncertainty. As we head into 2026, there's a lot of question marks to Jey Uso, but I definitely have to call him out here because he did not look ready tonight in Utah. I definitely did not.
Listen, I've always been critical of scenarios like this, and I'm not going to give anyone the benefit of the doubt. He did not look ready. He looked unprepared. It was sloppy at best. And listen, I had nothing in terms of anticipation looking forward to this match, but I thought with CM Punk, and listen, I'll give credit where credit's due to him, has a lot of ring leadership in terms of being a general in there and kind of getting people in the spots they need to get into to make sure the match is passable. But Jay, again, it's easy to critique, right? I'm not going to call Jay lazy. It just seems like he's unprepared. But more importantly for me, from my perspective, it just seems like this moment, him being in the spotlight, all the attention on him, I mean, coming from being a tag team specialist and then going to the scenario where he's main event Jey Uso, maybe it's just too much to handle. I mean, I wouldn't know what that pressure is like too, but as you referred to back to the documentary that we saw on Netflix, I mean, Triple H saying, we're going to strap this rocket on you. Can you handle it? The concern of, listen, going from being a tag team and the psychology that goes into that to being the person in there day in and day out. And honestly, I find it surprising and a little shocking. You know why? Because a lot of people be like, well, Jay's he's been in tag teams before, so he's not used to being a single. So no, during the pandemic, Jeff, it was only him and had amazing matches with Roman Reigns.
Oh yeah, for
sure. To be the person you had to get through to get to Roman, and would have great matches there. So I don't find it believable if somebody says, you know what, maybe he's just not ready. I just don't think he can handle that pressure in the sense, because honestly, he's proven he can be a singles competitor. He could be a single star, but for some reason, ever since he won the title at WrestleMania in Las Vegas, it's just been, in my opinion, a downward spiral in a sense for him, because listen, he's got the crowd in his hands. The crowd still loves him. They're still yeeting all the way. But in terms of believability, in terms of can you go there and perform every single night with that type of pressure, he is probably just not ready for that level of pressure right now. And this, above anything to me, is just, do I dare say nail in the coffin, but kind of in a way that, dude, you're just not ready for this moment. Maybe we need to give you a step back right now and figure out what you want to do, because I thought he was going to have a lengthy Intercontinental title run. That didn't happen. They skyrocketed him to the world title, and now it just really seems right now that after he does that entrance, kind of similar. I kind of compare him to the Ultimate Warrior. Once it's done, that entrance and that bell rings, it's over, and that's sad to say.
I mean, yeah, I mean, definitely. And then the bell rings is what they usually say, and then the bell rings. And for Jey, I don't know if it's booking too, because it's kind of been ever since he lost, the booking's been kind of like so with Jey, and he's dropped down even on our poll, even on our rankings. He was there in the beginning, so we started these rankings maybe like 3 weeks ago, and last week he fell out. He fell out of the top 10. He was up there and he fell out. And even LA Knight was dropping, but he still remained in there because he's still in the main event picture with CM Punk. And then today, I mean, man, again, just that question, like whether it's a personal life, whether it's something, everyone, I'm not going to talk about rumors and stuff like that are going on in his personal life, but maybe something is going on where it's just a little too much. And even you can tell Jimmy, though, I mean, I think Jimmy's going to get in line for a bigger push because Jimmy looks to be getting a little bit better shape. Maybe that's just my I don't know, my imagination or not, because Jimmy was the one that usually more like kind of like had the dad bod going, right? And Jay could at least, how could you say, could like hide the little, the imperfections of him with the shirt and everything like that. But today, dude, obviously today, I'm not one of those people. I'm not one to talk or criticize about body, right? But today, though, you can see it, dude. You could literally see it. Like it's just a half step slower today, but you can see it in the body, Trendsetter. There's love handles, there's man handles, and trust me, I know what those things are. So I can see it. So I mean, what did you think about his physical?
Well, look, if I'm going to compare physical, I got to be fair in this run too, right? When you look at Jey Uso and the lack of shape physically he looked in, didn't look ready. I mean, this is a world title match on Peacock in front of a live audience and a lot of people watching on the streaming platform, right? You would think you would physically be ready for something like that. Now, if I could overlook that, if the performance was better, but it wasn't. The performance demonstrated what the body looked like. But then let's turn around, Jeff. I looked at a guy like CM Punk, man, and I was telling you this when I was watching. It's amazing with CM Punk. Granted, I'm not going to take anything away. He wasn't terrible in the ring tonight, and he's been doing well the sporadic times he's been used in the ring. But my goodness, this guy looks like he hasn't slept in weeks. He's got bags under his eyes. He looks terrible. I mean, you compare him from his AEW days to what he is now. Obviously, night and day, but he doesn't look any better. He's had significant time off too. And to be fair as well, when I look at CM Punk, and again, this isn't about body image, guys. It's not about you have to have gigantic muscles and be 6 foot something, 300 pounds. But you have to look like you're ready to go, and you have to look presentable enough to say, like, these are two athletes. I mean, both of them, and to a certain extent during the match, looked gassed. Jay looked gassed from the sense that he just wasn't fit, didn't have the wind enough to get through the match. And CM Punk looked exhausted by trying to carry Jay through the match. It was really bad on both ends. So if this is going to be your main event, if your world champion is going to be standing there with his hair all disheveled and looking like he needs massive sleep, I'm sorry, that's a hard image to kind of fade out and end the night of Saturday night's main event for everybody to go home and be happy. But my goodness, man, it's been rare since I've complained so much about people's physical image during a match if the performance is good enough. But the performance was really bad on both ends. That was I mean, you sent people home happy with CM Punk winning the title, Jeff, but my God, halfway in this, I was kind of dozing off, to be honest.
I mean, I'm even reading this stuff and people are so happy that he's a champion. It's like, my champion, I never thought again. That's perfect. That's great. And if you've watched the show long enough, we're not people to body shame. We're not even trying to body shame. We're just pointing it out what we saw. And what we saw today was a guy that was gassed and half a step slow and out of shape, and another guy that looked tired. He just looked tired, and he comes out in the black jacket, and obviously our condolences because his trainer, his MMA trainer, passed away. So he's dedicating this one to his trainer. So glad that he was able to do that. But I mean, and also too, how about the fact too, like this is supposed to be
Jeff, just real quick. People on social media are reposting so much of that kick that CM Punk gave to.
Oh
Jey
yeah.
People right crying. This is hilarious. I don't know what's going on with Jay.
And it's again like they're boys outside. They're really on good terms, him and Jay, and so obviously Punk had to be frustrated because this is his championship win. But if you talk about big time, right? Yes, him winning is big time, but on a Saturday night's main event, no offense to Utah, but the crowd kind of was listless on SmackDown. They didn't have a huge crowd today. Obviously, you'll see the pictures later on, and you'll see the ticket sales. But it was a huge disappointment for TKO and WWE Utah. They did a weekend out of it. They put SmackDown and Saturday night's main event in there and didn't do so well. So already the atmosphere wasn't ideal for a CM Punk victory there. And that's probably one of the main reasons why Braun Breaker was pulled out of this, because they don't want him winning this championship on a Saturday night's main event. And Punk wins it. How long will his title reign be? We'll see if it goes past 2026. I think maybe there's a chance it will be. But I think this is all setting up for, again, I don't want to book down the road, but eventually, that Braun Breaker is going to be a world champion. But for tonight, how big was it for CM Punk? Yes, he's the champion, but hey, listen, there's a report Triple H wasn't even there. Triple H, Bruce Pritchard, I don't know where they're headed, whether they're headed for Raw on Monday or they have to do side trip or something like that, but they weren't even there. And then Triple H is tweeting out stuff. Obviously, he's not running the account, let's be honest. Just how big of a feel was it, and for Jey, like what kind of a look now does that have? Does the WWE just bypass that and say, hey, let's just get the hell out of here and let's flip the script and let's go to Monday and start fresh? But we're heading into WrestleMania season, and a lot of people think it's Royal Rumble, but I think to me last year a lot of people got excited in the Survivor Series, and then the Survivor Series now is just 4 weeks away, and where is that excitement now heading to Survivor Series? I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of things. WWE had a great couple weeks where we felt refreshed, and then you get to here, and it's kind of like, man, 4 matches. This ending, the opening, I didn't have a problem with the 2 middle matches, but the opening and ending, really, to me, in the ring quality style, was just really not to the par of the wrestlers in there. Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, Jey Uso, and CM Punk. At least 3 out of the 4 there have a reputation of being crisp in the ring. And Trendsetter, what does it say to you when Punk 47, Cody 41, LA Knight just turned 43, I believe? These wrestlers, I'm not saying that for wrestlers it's different, not like a sports athlete's career. These guys to be pillars of the company at that age. Are you worried about WWE's future, about building that next star? Or are we just in a gap right now where these guys are going to be making the newer stars heading into 2026? Because Cody is 41, Punk's 47, and those are your world champions. That's a little bit up there.
Listen, I'd lie to you if I said that I would lack confidence in WWE in terms of making new stars, right? But in terms of what we're seeing now, I'm not looking towards the ages of what you just mentioned right now. Obviously, that's significant. What I'm main concerned is right now, Jeff, is when you look at the booking of this, if you're booking your main talent, your money draws in a CM Punk, and like him or not, he draws money. Cody Rhodes, right? Even Roman is going to be up in that echelon as well. They're not getting any younger. And if you're having problems booking these individuals in the positions they need to be in for the company to excel, not just financially, but to excel in terms of enhancing more talent, I'm concerned now more of like, if you can't book these established stars already, these money makers, in my opinion, then you have a lot of problems building the star that you want, because it's these people who should be the ones passing it over. Now, listen, give CM Punk his flowers. Of course, it's a, full circle type of moment in terms of, did we ever think at this stage in his career would he be a world champion, especially in WWE? No. So it's a nice feel good story there. Cody finishing his story. But like you said, in the past, I would say, oh, we're in a good spot, because you see the talent. You see the talent on the roster. You see the talent in NXT, despite the fact the show is really difficult to watch at times. But you see that there is talent there. Now I have a true legitimate concern that, listen, if you're having problems with your established talent right now and booking them, how is that going to affect booking newer stars coming in? You like to hope that these ups and downs that are going on right now, because like I said, we're speaking about Saturday night's main event. This wasn't a PLE, but the last thing we saw was the last PLE was a really good show. So they got a lot to make up for in terms of this. But yeah, this was a dud. And yeah, it has me questioning now. Not for the first time ever. I've always questioned it, but it has me questioning now, man. You have talent here to use. And what are you doing booking them? Doesn't give me a lot of confidence for the future.
We are the Jersey Wrecking Crew, HSP, on the Give Shot Network with your Saturday night's main event post show. I am Jeff Martin and the Trendsetter here with you, breaking down and talking about everything Saturday night's main event. We've got the World Series and college football to to compete with, and I don't, it's a Saturday night. It's a tough night. I'm not sure whether or not the views for the show Saturday Night's Main Event are going to, entail that, or how you can determine that on Peacock. But listen, we're working here and we're watching it, and I was looking,
Hey, we're working here. We're
we're working here. You know what I'm saying? But I'm looking forward to this because we talked about Punk and Jay, and now we're going to go to the beginning. And the thing that I thought was that the rumor, the little juicy thing that happened was there was at WrestlePalooza, there was an idea that was put out there by Randy and Drew where they would somehow cost Cody the championship. And I think Cody was even down for it too, or it would add a little bit of intrigue to this feud between Drew and Cody, because obviously he's going to be dragged out a little bit more. And you finally would see the beginning of a heel turn with Randy or something to that extent. And it just never happened. Cody retained. And again, Drew, we were like, man, is he ever going to win the big one? And then you get today, and you had the ending on SmackDown, and everyone's like, well, he just got the one up on Cody. So we all know how it's going to pan out. And then Drew's, posting saying, hey, I'm not worried because I'm confident that, I'm going to walk out the champion. So we're like, all right, and then the stipulation. And then you're thinking, okay, all right, this is a good way for Cody to lose and not really be damaged. And then you got Drew McIntyre again being outsmarted or just outmaneuvered and outwitted by Cody Rhodes, where to me at one point the heels got outwit the babyface at some point once, and Drew has not done it. And I believe he's now 2-9 against Cody Rhodes and 0-5 in championships. And to me now, I'm not interested in Drew McIntyre as much as I was all for everything that he had done. To me now, it's way too many losses for me to be emotionally interested in Drew McIntyre for a long time. I don't see it's not believable. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch another PLE where he's involved in a championship match because I don't believe in Drew. For the first time in a long time, WWE creative, thank you, because I do not believe in Drew McIntyre anymore. Congratulations.
That's the first thing we're actually congratulating WWE for doing something successfully in terms of that. No, yeah, it's a shame, man. Everything that Drew's done since, back at, WrestleMania 39, 40, just all the work he was doing to get in this scenario where he wasn't even pitted to be in a main event spot and everything he did to get to it, and to see where it's led him to, it's beyond disappointing to watch because I'm a huge Drew McIntyre fan. I've loved his work in terms of this new version of him really just kind of letting it loose and really kind of just going for it. And if he messes and fails, he's willing to accept that failure, right? But listen, this goes beyond booking, I feel, in a sense. I mean, listen, we had discussions about this, Jeff, with LA Knight, right? Like, does the company really believe in him? I think if the pandemic hadn't happened, again, this is just my opinion, it might be a different story because he was white hot at that moment, and to have him defeat Brock Lesnar to win the title would have been huge. And again, maybe things would have been different. But in the reality of what it is now, my main concern right now isn't, because I knew and I kind of expected what the ending was going to be. It'd be a nice surprise if Drew had won. I don't think it would have hurt Cody if he did. And it would have been a great moment for Drew to kind of finally gain some of the momentum he had lost after that rivalry with CM Punk, right? But I was more concerned in the fact, Jeff, and I want to ask you this question too. But despite what I mentioned before about the storyline being forced, and I'm not really invested in this, it was kind of just the same old shtick with talking about Cody's father, Dusty Rhodes, and I'm the real American Dream, blah blah blah. Is it possible with this booking now, WWE, is Cody becoming boring? And to me, I had to actually answer that question myself. Like, I love Cody. I love Cody so much. I really do. But it seems like the character he's portraying is becoming so boring. I understand white hot babyface. People want to push that, but it's becoming stale. And I feel for the first time watching this match after it was over that it is becoming stale with Cody.
It is one thing to be a heel. Everyone loves being a heel, but to stay that clean babyface. I mean, look at Cena. I mean, all the pushback that he had, but he never wavered until this past year. He never wavered on never turning his back on the fans, and by doing so, a longevity of over 20 years as a babyface. But you have that problem where society nowadays is not like the 80s before, where you don't see Hogan as much as you do on TV. You see him here and there on TV, but you don't see him every week on your TV set. So it's hard to keep that baby face going, because every week you have to make him, look, whether he's naive or whether it's just bland. And I get it. And it's definitely not Cody's fault. It's just the way that things work now. It's a lot more different. He's there all the time. He still does the work. He's the face of the company. He's still QB1, but it just needs a little bit adversity. It just seems like at no point, any time, 100% can you say, oh, he's not winning. He's not winning. WrestleMania was probably the only time, because everything had just set the way for John Cena to win 17, and for him, what was going to happen next. So I think that's the only other time. But everything else has just been like, oh, Cody's going to win here. Cody's going to win. And too predictable to me at
Is it the same dilemma we faced with John Cena when all the matches he had in the past were like, oh, he's going to win. There's no way he's going to lose this match.
It's to me, it's the thing is that I guess the World Championship, it's different, right? It's the W Championship, the World Championship. So you want your face of the companies to have that and make the rounds and be the faces. It's not like those mid-card titles, but some of these championship runs to me don't have to be 6 months, a year, 2 years, 999,544 days. They don't have to be like that. And if you're going to just
thank Roman for that now.
And Punk, and it all started with the Punk. It's all started with the days. That's where, to me, where it started. Where CM Punk, when he started the 434, to me, that's where all the days started. And they thought it was pretty a cool thing to mention every time. But I mean, you saw Tiffany Stratton here. I believe it was 308 days, whatever.
Yeah.
And towards the end, people just were losing steam. It's rare for people to get that momentum of still winning. They walked the tightrope with Roman Reigns there, and all those times that he was a champion, because a lot of times where people were like calling for him to lose. And maybe they get a little predictable, but Roman was Roman though. Roman could keep you, he could keep you like, hey, listen, man, I hate the guy, but he's the man, he's the champion, because he's a heel. Obviously there are times like, Sami Zayn should have probably won it in Montreal. Definitely that would have been great to do that, because it's called for it, but you can't do it for that one night, I guess.
Or McIntyre when they were in Europe too, and they were
Drew, right? And they didn't do that. And I get it, because he's a heel, and Roman's just a different animal, a different beast. But with Cody, man, would it have hurt if he did drop it at WrestlePalooza? No, it was WrestlePalooza. It's your first show on ESPN. Add some kind of like intrigue, whatever, because the show was a bland show. If he would have dropped the title, and then maybe you had the rematch here, and then maybe Survivor Series, we get the rematch with Drew, and then he wins it back. I mean, a little bit of unpredictability. And I don't think also too, and here I'm going to sound like I'm contradicting myself. The same thing we get is with Raws or SmackDowns. Everybody thinks that every Raw has to be a home run. No, I get sometimes WWE has to like tread lightly in order to get to something. But also, too, think about this, Trendsetter, too. Think about this.
Yeah, except Raw's more than 4 matches, though.
Yeah, all these PLEs, this is probably the most WWE has done the last 2 years about PLEs and special events and all these different things. It's spreading itself thin. It really is, too. You're not getting the once a month now. You're getting that. You're getting Saturday Night's Main Event. You're getting all these different ones. And so it's tough to book. I mean, there was one where they had Saturday Night's Main Event, and then they had the Women's Evolution. And it was just, a lot. So I get the fact that with the popularity of WWE, that they are maybe spreading themselves thin as far as storyline-wise. And maybe that's one of the reasons, too. But it's just right now, it's too predictable. And right now, they're in a lull. For 2 weeks, they shook things up a little bit. And they didn't have to do that much, but they shook it up a little bit. SmackDown saw a much better quality the last 2 weeks. Raw was good for the last 3 weeks. But then now we get this. But if you think about this, if WWE had time to book it into Survivor Series, maybe we wouldn't get something like Saturday Night's Main Event. And this is to adding that CM Punk won tonight. So he did win the championship. So you get your money's worth, supposedly, because you saw him walk out the champion. But then it just, I don't know. I think it's a lot of factors, Trendsetter, but I think part of it, too, is booking, and part of it's just spreading this all thin. And it's not like it used to be back in the day where you saw Hogan once a month, or when he came into your neighborhood and you didn't see him on a weekly basis. I think that's hurt, too. What are your thoughts, Trendsetter, on why Cody is bland? Because Cody is bland right now. There's no doubt about it. Cody's bland. You can't believe in Drew anymore. Jey Uso is eating his way out of the top spot in the company. CM Punk looks tired. I mean, right now, tonight is not a good look unless you're Jade Cargill, Dominic Mysterio, and maybe CM Punk. But it's just right now. This was just a bad look for the company.
Listen, I would love to just look at it as that, it was a bad night at the office for a lot of people, right? But I don't feel that way. I feel it's I call myself the trendsetter. It's kind of a trend that's been happening right now that I've been watching pattern wise. Listen, you're talking about, they had good Raws building up to this, good SmackDowns, but at the end of the day, this is one of your premium events that you're putting so much promotion behind. To have 4 matches, you're thinking they're going to go 24, 25 minutes. You're thinking we're going to have lengthy in terms of in-ring psychology. And again, I'm not expecting a ridiculous person's star rating for something like this, but I'm expecting to be entertained, to be enthralled and invested in what I'm seeing. And that just wasn't the case tonight. It started off with the main event. We talked about the main event. It started off with the WWE Undisputed Championship, and it was just a bad start and just continued on for the rest of the night. Like in terms of Cody, like I said, I brought up the question, is getting boring. It is getting stale. And listen, I understand the fact that you want to do white baby face and all that stuff, but listen, when John Cena did it, right, better than anybody. If you want to talk about the model of a lengthy title reign, yes, CM Punk started it. Roman Reigns defined it into excellence in terms of having that lengthy title reign that he did, which in my opinion, I hope not, doesn't ever get duplicated again, because only he could have pulled it off. I'll give Roman Reigns his flowers there. But when you look at the comparisons between John Cena and Cody Rhodes, they're doing this white babyface thing. I think John was different in the extent that what he was promoting out there and what he was doing was legitimately him. And I'm not saying that Cody's not a nice guy and stuff like this, but here's the difference. We've seen other versions of Cody where he's had that attitude. He's had that methodical edge to him too, where like maybe he'll snap or maybe he'll do this.
Well, he kind of had that kind of heel way he won the thing today. So there was
he did. But at the same time, when he first came back to the company, he was straight up himself, but at the same time wasn't excusing things that he did that were probably looked at shady or his past or anything like that. But now it just seems like too much, where with John, as much as I hated John and the way the company pushed him, at least I could believe whatever John presented to me felt real and authentic. With Cody, as much as he's a nice guy, a lot of it feels scripted to a certain degree, that he's put in positions where it just looks made up and he's just trying to do his best to go with it. And that's what's making me think that it's going bad, in the sense that it's just boring, dude. If I can predict it and I can see it as clear as day, then that means it's not really working itself. That's why I had to get so personal with the Drew McIntyre. So listen, I hope. Listen,
what about Drew? You believe in Drew?
The crowd's still wooing, but for Drew, what about Drew?
You believe in Drew? Have you lost?
I believe in him. Yes. Does the company believe in him? No. I still believe in Drew McIntyre in terms of that he can be a face of a company. He could be a dominant heel in a sense like that, but it doesn't matter if I believe in him. I know for 100% fact that the company doesn't, so it doesn't matter.
Well, maybe you answered the question here, but if SmackDown, no, that's not. Yeah, let's do it. SmackDown, you get the championship opportunity against Cody. Any one iota of believability that you think you can beat Cody?
No, not at all.
Is it gonna be a while before you care about?
We've talked about it before. Perception reality. They've already perceived that Drew can't win the big one. He can't do it. They took him from the environment from Raw, moved him to SmackDown with the same end result too. And it's getting tiring too, to the fact that it seems like, he's getting screwed. It's kind of like a Bret Hart thing. I'm being screwed over this and being screwed over that. And, it wasn't for this ref or that call, particular thing. It becomes boring stuff after a while. You have empathy when you first see it with Drew. You're like, you're right, man. He's not giving a fair shot. It seems like every single time it works against him, which also becomes stale too. Like, how many times do you have to get the same thing where just a ref gets knocked out, or he brings the title in and he gets spiked on the title that he brought in? Like, again, we were praising not too long ago, seems like not too long ago, of how the WWE was nice that they weren't as predictable. Now it's kind of becoming back to that cliche again. Wow. It can obviously be fixed, but man, just again, this is just the compass of Saturday night's main event.
I don't know if a quick fix, Trendsetter, it could be fixed, but just for the rest of the year, I don't want to see Drew, but I just don't want to. I don't believe in Drew. And again, too, man, like, you have a guy in Randy Orton. I'm going all over the place. You have a guy like Randy Orton. Never was a big fan of like Randy or whatever, but you got to admit the guy is an all-time great. He's back with the company. And the booking for Randy Orton has just been like, just already have him fight Cody. We talked about like not putting stuff to the side and stuff, and now with all these PLEs, you got to get this. But it seems like they're just prolonging this Cody and Randy feud. It's just like, okay, man. Yes, we're still be excited when we see it, but man, it's dragged on for so long. Where's Randy? How is he not featured on any of these events? Like, has it become like a side attraction? Has it become like one of the? I don't understand where Randy Orton is. And again,
This creates the big debate, Jeff, that you and I always talk about, right? Do you save something for the prolonged run, knowing that that's going to be something you're going to go in the near future? Now, of course, it's been a while, and they've been teasing a Cody Randy thing, or is it something you just present right away? And we're in that tail end where like they're holding on to it.
man.
And again, I think honestly at this point right now, the way I feel about Cody and the way I feel about Randy in terms of we've seen him limit has been a limited schedule for him. I don't know if it ever does happen, or if it does happen, will I be interested in it? So a lot of work has to happen between that point when it actually happens for me to actually get invested. Before I was just like, oh my God, let's see if Randy turns. Let's see if Cody turns and turns heel. Student versus teacher. We know the closest of them. That would be a great story to tell. Now, if it ever does happen, I don't know how interested I would be in it. And that's not me being spoiled or bitter. It's just like I just think they've done a bad job in terms of planting Easter eggs there, but to the point where you're like, oh my God, we don't see Randy in 2 months and stuff like that. So now we're supposed to kind of like go right into that or not. I don't know. Seems very indecisive to me, the booking.
Like again, Randy's like 45. So again, we're depending on these guys in their 40s to come back. But again, Randy's an all-time great.
He's
And
like
again,
Keith Jackman. He's gonna do it till he's 90.
yeah. So like again, like when are we gonna get this? Maybe see that's what we're thinking too. We're also thinking what's gonna be that feud that's gonna make Cody's run again too, because as soon as Cody won that championship, that's another thing that you worry about. When Cody won it at 40, you have to know who that next guy is gonna be. You have to have an idea. Yeah, it was cool with AJ and everything, and obviously he's not gonna lose the title right away. But at no point after that was there any believability that the title was in real danger. So you have to find a balance in that too. But it's so important after you win at WrestleMania, especially when you're going to be that guy. And always go back to Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson. After he won that matchup at 30, all that energy from the Yes movement, it just slowly went away because you have to keep that baby face hot heading into the next feud. And Kane was not it. It really wasn't. And I'm not on Kane's fault that just didn't go over, but it wasn't ideal. And when you go with something with a great story that took 2.5 years to culminate at WrestleMania 40, you have to find that next guy. You have to keep it fresh. You have to put as much work as you did to get to that story and finish it and rewrite the story of now him being a champion and having to defend it. It's so much easier when we're chasing. It's so much easier, right? But now it's tough. And now Cody, we're just waiting for that rivalry that's going to get us excited again. I think that's what we're waiting for Cody. Maybe it's not just the blandness. It's also who's going to step up, who's going to make Cody step up his game and be real competition for that undisputed championship. And to me right now, it's Randy. And I think by a mile on that SmackDown roster right now, because Jacob is out. We were excited about Jacob, and I think they pushed up the whole Drew thing. And so it's a lot of things: injuries, booking, spreading themselves thin. It's a lot of stuff, Trendsetter, man. But who is going to be that next rival for Cody Rhodes to get his momentum back? I think that's a big, big part.
And you know what? Part of that, for me at least, is not in terms of just waiting for that next big rivalry, like we're talking about Randy. But every single rivalry that he's in, whether it's Drew, whether he's fighting one half of the Wyatts, or if he's fighting LA Knight, or LA Knight's on Raw now, whoever it is, I just want there to be something that I can be invested in. I don't want it to be the same thing over and over again. Give me something in terms of a reason why these two are fighting, and just let that be. Sometimes I feel like they're overcomplicated and they just make it more complicated than it is, which causes the anger, causes the frustration. I'm like, come on, guys, what are we doing here, man? It's pretty simple. This young star wants a piece of Cody. Cody wants to hold on to his title. Let's let that be the focus. But again, I feel it goes everywhere. You're right. The big money prize right now is Cody and Randy. When or if that'll ever happen, I don't know. But right now, at this stage right now, the way they're presenting Cody, and now will be a big test to see, because We always thought the whole Seth Rollins thing and CM Punk, that was going to be something that's going to lead to something really big in terms of a singles match for the two of them, with CM Punk chasing Seth for the title and ultimately winning it in a big culmination. Now Seth is out. CM Punk is the world champion. What's the thing going forward? Is it with Jey? Is it with members of Vision? We'll find out when we see Raw, but that's also going to be an important thing because now you have two baby faces as your world champions. CM Punk, let's see what the next story goes on in terms of how it builds up to it, because that should be a big telling sign of where they're going leading towards WrestleMania season.
HSP on the Give a Shot Network with your Saturday night's main event post show. Here with you for a little bit longer here. So if you want to get in the convo in the chat, let the Trendsetter know with your comments what you thought about Saturday night's main event. But listen, man, the World Series in college football, it is a tough day with a lot of sports going on, especially for the WWE to put on a show like this. Be interesting to see exactly what is a turnout for Saturday night's main event. But yeah, we're here though. We're here doing our jobs here, and we are breaking down Saturday night's main event. The triple threat match I thought was okay. And I'm going to tell you right now, if there's a guy that I would invest in a lot, it's Dominic Mysterio. Obviously, to me, he's a leading candidate for a superstar of the year, just with all his credentials, double champion, mega champion, the Intercontinental champion. He's continuing to find ways to win, like a certain WWE Hall of Famer, like a certain Latino heat. And the crowd organically now is starting to love Dominic. And you can see every time he comes out, the cheers get louder and louder. It's going to lead him to be a baby face down the road. And he's already proven he's huge in Mexico. And kudos to Dirty Dom, but here's a major player. We talked about who are going to be the stars into 2026 and beyond. This is definitely a guy that's going to be there for the next 10, 12 years, Trendsetter. And kudos to him. I thought Rusev was good. I think Penta was good again. And I think the mid-card division is strong. Just right now, the main eventers right now is what WWE is struggling with. Good showing again, but then you just wonder here too. You think about the long term with Dom, and this is another good victory under his belt. But you have Rusev taking losses. You got Penta, who's kind of stuck in this kind of like rudder here, where okay, he's getting the opportunities, but not seizing the moment. Got a little bit outsmarted tonight. Yes, Dirty Dom, to me, I believe is an MVP this year for 2025. Just your thoughts on Dirty Dom, his win, and where it leaves Penta and Rusev.
Listen, congratulations to Dirty Dom, another successful title victory. You keep finding ways to win or steal matches. Who knows? But that's the great thing about his character, why you love to hate him, why you want to see him lose so badly. So great job by Dominic. His ring ability, too, has gotten better and better. I just think even at a young age right now, just he's so way ahead of terms of the psychology in wrestling, of him obviously inheriting those traits also from Eddie Guerrero, of just being that guy to you just want to see him lose. You want to see him get beat up, and he does it very well. As for Penta and Rusev, listen, I love Penta. I really do. There's something about him I think is very unique and should be looked at more, especially when he debuted in WWE. I'm thinking, oh, wow, maybe he's going to be given a chance here to showcase. I've never had any misconceived notions Jeff Davis was going to be in the world title picture or the title picture, but for an Intercontinental title, for U.S. title, for tag team titles, I thought that was a possibility. Listen, we've talked about it before, right in the very beginning when we were talking about the WWE Championship, or we're talking about the world title for the main event. Perception is reality. Listen, I know losses don't matter in this business as much, but in the way and manner in which you lose, you ask the question, do I believe in Drew McIntyre anymore? Is Cody getting stale or boring, right? In terms of Jey, am I kind of giving up on him? Is the pressure too much for him? I have to ask the same question now for a guy like Penta. Do I believe in Penta? He's got a cool-ass entrance. I love what he was wearing tonight. Always entertaining to watch him in the ring, right? But do I believe he can actually do this after so many losses in every inconceivable way? Do I really care about Penta beating Dominic Mysterio? Honestly, no. And as for Rusev, listen, man, the guy just can't catch a break, honestly. And again, I'm not trying to put sympathy on Rusev, but like from what he had initially when he started in NXT, he was brought up to the main roster. They pushed him heavy, and then it was a tailspin downward, left, went to another company, had a great debut in that company, and then didn't want to do any stories, sat for almost a year and a half or more than that, came back to crickets. And now that's a scenario where I feel, unfortunately, Rusev is in purgatory. He can go to another company if he wants or whatever. I just think right now the direction they're going, even in Triple H's vision, it just doesn't work. There is no connection with the audience. And I'm not saying you have to have the audience cheering you, but they're not even booing the guy now. It's like right now he's going against Dominic Mysterio and he's supposed to be a bad guy. So do we cheer Rusev? Do we not cheer Rusev? And the biggest example I'll give to you, Jeff, is that when they came out to the entrances, we saw Penta. People were doing the Cero Miedo little hand things. Dominic Mysterio came out. They were cheering. Rusev came out. He did that jump. The lights came off. Nothing. No reaction whatsoever. So he's in purgatory right now. So what happens in terms of these two? I still think there might be hope for Penta, but for Rusev, unfortunately, I don't think there's any way you go from him right now because he is now stuck in the worst possible thing you can be in this business. You're stuck in the middle. You're an in-betweener, and that's terrible for him.
Well, obviously that's where there is perceived that Rusev and Penta. Well, Rusev is in that purgatory, and then Penta again. Like, is he going to take that next step? And we'll see what happens. I'm kind of maybe seeing it's a better 2026 than an end for 2025 to Penta because it's there. Obviously, it's there. That connection he has with the fans, you can't. He can relate with them. So. He always gets cheered. He's always an attraction because of that entrance and because of what he can do in the ring. I also too think he can do more in the ring too. I think they've kind of like curved. Let me just say, speak English. Yeah, they've curbed him a little bit as far as his in-ring stuff too. So we'll see what happens there. But Dirty Dom gets the win.
Let me ask you this, right? We're talking about Penta. Leave Rusev to the side. He's stuck in purgatory, right? Do you think now is the time, knowing that there's really, in my opinion, no direction for him going forward as a single star? We haven't seen Rey Fenix and God knows how long on SmackDown. Do you think now is the time to pit them together?
Well, we're seeing Rey Fenix, but we're seeing him get his ass kicked. And I thought there was light at the end of the tunnel for Rey Fenix when Andrade, but then Andrade obviously, did what he did and he's not with the company anymore. And then they kind of it sputtered with Rey Fenix. Now he's in this feud with the MFTs and it's MFTs, right?
Yeah,
it's the MFTs. And so he's in this feud, and now maybe he's going to get his ass kicked by the MFTs. But
should we put them together?
You should put them together.
Okay.
Save that tag team division on Raw because that tag team division on Raw is
oh my god,
it is. Yeah,
a division.
So, and I'm glad AJ Lee. I'm glad AJ Lee won the tag team titles because it's getting kind of stale with Dominic and Finn Balor as a champions. Good God, was it awful. But again, they're going to have their normal matches with the New Day and then, put them, maybe the War Raiders will get back together for the 35th time and maybe have a run there. But the tag team division.
Maybe we'll see the New Day again. Who knows?
Yeah, most likely you will because they're a solidified tag team. But other than that, bring Rey Fenix back to Raw because he's suffering there on SmackDown. And I wanted to go against the grain and be like, you're kidding me. Rey Fenix is a star. He's going to be happy he left AEW. But right now, the only positive is that he's there with his brother. And they're not even on the same show. Yeah. So we'll see. Again, there's still potential with Rey Fenix, though. I mean, again, he gets curbed a little bit in the ring. He can't show 100% of what he can do normally when he was in AEW. And that's where I think, too, sometimes – that's what happens with them. They have this amazing arsenal in their game, but it's not enough for WWE television because that's not what they're all about. They're all about, you make one move and that's it. That's your move. You don't have to, which is a good thing for longevity, but your arsenal kind of gets taken down a notch because you can't show everything that you have. And so that's what I think hurts Rey Fenix and guys like Penta because they could be having 15, 20-minute matches but they can't. So we'll see what happens to both guys. And then we get the John Cena news where John Cena on December 13th, and we're almost a month now out. So in like 12 days, and happy November to you guys, by the way. We're a little bit over a month and 12 days away from that's it being for John Cena. Mm-hmm. And wow, did it hit today when we saw that. A 16-man tournament, which was rumored to have happened to name John Cena's final opponent. Again, I'll speak English by the end of the day. His final opponent. And it's going to be guys from Raw and SmackDown and NXT and maybe some guys that don't even work there. What does that mean? I'm sure that even when we go back later on today and check out the IWC, they'll be starting to think of people, Edge, that they think are going to happen and be his final opponent. But at the end of the day, it just hits him, man. We are nearing down the end, and John Cena has been. We were talking about just John Cena before as the babyface is coming to an end in a little over a month, Trendsetter.
Okay.
And I believe that the final opponent is going to be Gunther. So I think that's what they're going to do. And if you're listening or you're watching the dirt sheets, or you obviously hear the rumors about possibly Dom being a opponent for John at the Survivor Series, and that's going to be also an interesting one. But again, he's got 2 more matches, and then we'll see what happens on in the Boston and Madison Square Garden ones. Maybe he does wrestle somebody there too. But I mean, that's it. 4 more appearances for John Cena. November again. We're getting to that point where the Boston one, and then MSG, and that's it, man. And then it's Survivor Series and December the 13th. So the tournament begins a week from Monday, and it's gonna be interesting to see what the brackets are. But I believe at the end of the day, we're gonna get John Cena versus Gunther for this. But it's good. NXT's involved, SmackDown, and then you never know who that surprise might be. So
Yeah, listen, I said thank God this is almost over, because to me it's probably been and we'll probably do a show about this in terms of probably the worst handled finales of, we heard Triple H preach about this, and other people say, John deserves to write his ending, to write it, to finish his book the way he wants to, unlike a lot of people. It's probably one of the worst endings to a chapter I have ever seen at the tail end. Now, doesn't mean we haven't had some great moments, some memorable moments, some pretty great matches. CM Punk and John Cena, and obviously that last one, AJ Styles and John Cena, was actually a classic. To be honest with you, Jeff, if I could have said this is your final match and ended on that high, as wrestlers talk about chasing the dragon, that was your one out in terms of that's it. That should have been the last one. But again, I digress in that. This tournament is just weird because all these individuals will be fighting for an opportunity to face John Cena in his final match. Pretty unique, I'll give it that, but it's not for a title. It's just for the title of trying to beat John Cena in his final match. So
this will propel somebody. So
it does. We don't know, because again, you're saying Gunther. I haven't heard reports that he's back from his surgery and stuff like that, but I'm assuming, similar to you, that's going to be Gunther. How does this elevate him? Okay, defeated John Cena. He's defeated. People debate me on this. Another legend in terms of Goldberg. But again, what has that gotten him? Because you tap him out to Jey Uso.
Yeah, no. I think
lose to CM Punk.
I think it should be Braun Breaker.
How does that elevate him? I agree with you.
I think it should
a Braun Breaker would be great in this, because it would elevate Braun Breaker in terms of what they're trying to promote him as a future WrestleMania main eventer for years to come. So if that's a scenario, then you just stole my idea, Jeff, and I was going to go to that, but I'm glad you said it before I did. But it was, to me, it should be Braun Breaker, if anything like that. And if I had to be in terms of internal, I would like for it to be Edge too, for the nostalgia factor. But if you're going to promote a young star, it would have to be Braun Breaker.
I would have loved had they announced this tournament, because again, with John Cena, you haven't heard from him in a couple weeks. So I would have loved them for there to be like people already in the process of trying to vie for these tournament spots. Maybe have elimination matches to get into the tournament, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a big deal. You said it's a unique deal to take on the greatest of all time in his final match. That's going to live in the history books. It's going to be an all-timer. So you're going to be in the history books no matter what, win or loss, right?
Yeah.
I would have loved it to have been announced before Seth Rollins got injured. Because if, for example, it would just, to me, would have made the excuse of not putting Braun or Bronson Reed in the match itself, because I would have been like this. And here again, I'm booking. I mean, Paul.
Don't be a booker, Jeff.
I'll be like, Paul. I'll have my opportunities to become the champion. It's coming, but right now I got to focus on one thing, and you know what I mean. And then one thing, and then lead it up. Just like have that anticipation that Braun Breaker is going to be in that tournament. You know, that's going to be his goal. That that's it. Before championships or anything like that, I got to beat the man. And dude, that would be to me. Braun should be the guy to knock off John Cena. And Gunther, to me, is the thing though. To me, I think he's already solidified. I think he really has. And I just think it'll be excess. I mean, I think you're just giving a guy excess where he doesn't really need it. Does he deserve it? Obviously, he's a very viable opponent. John Cena and Gunther match, you know, would be a pay-per-view in any other place, right? But does he need it as much as a guy like maybe Braun Breaker would, who he's just getting into this now? It would really serve him well if he came out with a victory, or even if he had Bronson and Reed come close to getting in that tournament, or advancing in there just a little bit, just to have these guys outside of the world title picture, because now Braun Breaker is going to have to be involved. You can't just keep him away for this long, right? So I think him being involved or being entrenched in this fighting to face Cena in DC, I think would have been great. And I think if they would have announced this a little bit earlier, they would have. But again, I'm excited for it, and it's going to be interesting. And I think it just hits home that, hey, John Cena's, that's it, man. Next month, that's it. Before the holiday wraps up, it's over.
Yeah, exactly. Be an early Christmas for him to be able to enjoy it with his family instead of having to go around. Well, he's probably gonna be going around everywhere, just doing filming movies and stuff like that. But listen, we're coming to the end to a tremendous career. One I don't think similar to, and listen, I'll probably say the same thing about this when Roman Reigns starts to hang him up too, in terms of the run he's had towards this tail end part of his career, where it was basically being the tribal chief. I don't think that'll ever be duplicated. I don't think a career like John Cena's will ever be duplicated, just because the business has changed so much. I mean, we're not doing those crazy schedules anymore. It's a new regime now. I think the focus more isn't necessarily about doing a lot more in-ring stuff as opposed to just kind of like doing the stuff in terms of getting your face out there. So for a guy like John Cena, you know, he's probably the end of an era for a lot of people too. And also, listen, I've always critiqued John Cena in terms of hated his character, hated him so much because of what the company was pushing him and shoving him in our face every single time when we didn't want them as the audience. At least my demographic didn't. But I can't take away from the man. The man is an honorable man. The things he's done for the charities, we just never asked for publicity or respect for that. We just got to respect the man. The work ethic this guy puts in, the work he puts in every single day, and still does it because he loves what he does. And even though he's probably wasn't a huge die-hardcore fan in terms of like one of those, you know, those die-hardcore wrestling fans that we all say, you know, pay your dues, whatever, doesn't matter. He was built within the system, and he had the system work for him, and he did it better than anybody. I have to give him his flowers there. So it'll be a tough end because we grew up watching him too. We grew up a little bit towards the end. We saw the Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era. John Cena was the huge part of that. And now to see it come to an end reminds me that I'm getting older, but at the same time, it also reminds me too that somebody like him does need to be celebrated because, man, he revolutionized business. As much as what Roman's done in this TKO deal, John Cena built the bridge for that for Roman, as Rock and Austin built it for John, and vice versa, and the list goes on and on. So I just, you know, I can't say I'm excited for this tournament. If it's Braun Breaker, I will be excited for him because John is very much a traditionalist in terms of that he wants to go on his way out to help elevate somebody else. And I think the best he could do would be Braun Breaker. Gunther is already established in a sense, doesn't need it. A guy like Braun Breaker would be huge because right now, from what I've been hearing, Jeff, is that they don't really want to put him in the title picture just yet.
Yeah.
To defeat a guy like John Cena, you automatically get put in that main event spot because he beat one of the greatest of all time on his way out. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, obviously though, but to me though, Braun could have that in his back pocket, and every time it comes out, he's like, "Remember, I'm the guy that beat John Cena," and I think that would be great heel heat, and he could carry that for a few months too. So I don't think that would automatically have to put him in the main event picture, but that would really put him on that trajectory.
Well, but it changes the perception, obviously.
Yeah, obviously it does. Obviously it does, and I think it would be a good one, a good call to put Braun Breaker in there. And congratulations to Jade Cargill because she finally won the big one. Although it was, in the eyes of many, a really, and again, though, to me, here's where they kind of dropped the ball, where Tiffany, I don't know, on SmackDown, I'm not going to say that I had all my eyes on SmackDown, but did she look like she was holding back injuries from, like, as she did today? I don't think she made that, it wasn't that evident that she was, you know, the fact to me that, okay, why does Tiffany get the out? But somebody else has to gut it out and can't get out of this. But Tiffany had the opportunity to gut it out. Yeah, she's a babyface. She's going to say, no, I'm going to fight, and I'm a fighting champion, right? And so she wasn't 100%. But, you know, where has it ever been like, hey, listen, can you go tonight or whatever? Given that option, it's kind of weird. And to me, this should have been something that was lingering for weeks and stuff. Well, I mean, for at least for last for SmackDown. And Jade Cargill wins. She definitely, obviously, that promo was not on purpose. She did fudge Tiffy with Taffy. That's fine. Not going to harp on it. It's funny, but had probably a really good match and was the powerhouse. And through not dominated Tiffany in this. Now, yes, she was injured, not 100% in storyline wise. So she gets the win. Tiffany Stratton's title reign towards the end, but ends at over 300 days. And now we're in the Jade Cargill era, and people again want a fantasy book and hoping that Bianca Belair's finger gets better. Although I have no idea what's going on with that. Who you want to believe when she'll be back? No timetable for that, but that's the matchup everybody wants to see. They want to see Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. I'm down for that as well. But before we get to that, though, Jade Cargill comes out victorious. She's the new champ. Congratulations to her, because I do believe she's been trying to get better. I do believe she's been trying. I don't think she goes and trains with Natalya Hart in the Hart Dungeon. She's doing everything, I think, to get better. I don't think she's like using this as a stepping stone or whatever, or she's, hey, I made it in WWE and just rested on her laurels. I think she's worked hard. Will she ever be 100% crisp? I don't know, but it's satisfactory for now. And she's a powerhouse, and she basically just has to dominate people. And we'll see what they do. But I think when you're a heel and you're going to make an impact like you did when you turned on Tiffany 2 weeks ago, I think you have to finish it off with the victory. She comes out, dominates Tiffany Stratton. And Trendsetter, on the bright side, are you happy for Jade? Is it well-deserved? Is she getting better? And what's the outlook now for Tiffany Stratton as she loses her women's championship?
Ooh, it's a lot there.
Well, because you can.
Congratulations, Jade. No, I was waiting for you to take a breath there. Congratulations, Jade. Listen, the best thing that ever happened to Jade was the mere fact that she had that laceration across her eyebrow. Best look at, I mean, we talk about defining moments in careers, right? And I'm not making the comparison between the two, Jeff, because it's not fair. But when Becky Lynch got her nose busted and stood up there with her hands up in the air, blood running down her face, that was a moment for her. Jade, same thing, had that huge laceration across her face, around her eyebrow, and just goes in front of the camera, talking trash, acting like the Jade that we knew from AEW, the Jade they thought was coming over. It was clearly the experiment of making her a babyface. I understood why they did it, especially teaming up with Bianca, because you want to protect her, because there's no question she isn't the greatest in the ring. She has a look about her. And now we finally seen the culmination of what they should have done initially, but they've come to their senses, and I will actually applaud WWE for doing this. Let Jade be Jade. Let her be what we saw in AEW, because that was what was appealing. That's what attracted people to her. Now, I wouldn't say I'm in agreement for a match, Jeff, that lasted 5 minutes. So this is where I will critique WWE, though, because you have a scenario where they had a really good SummerSlam match. The match they had on SmackDown were really good, where you and I were looking, oh, look at this, man. You know, Jade's improving, and obviously Tiff is in there, and she's putting in work to make Jade look good as well. It's a great dance partner to have in terms of Tiffany. Sometimes I don't think Tiffany gets enough flowers or enough credit. I'm done using the term flowers. Enough credit where she can make people good in the ring just as much as she looks good in the ring. And for a match like this magnitude to be done, I get why they did it, because they want this new Jade to be a dominant force. But for a 5-minute match, really? For an injury that happened less than 24 hours, and then for the constant back and forth. Are you sure you can go? Are you sure you can go? I'm a fighting champion. I can. Are you serious?
We know why they did it, right? But
yeah, it's just a cop out. Seriously, we know why they did it. But for her to be dominating like that, I think it's a disservice to Tiffany. Again, it doesn't hurt her. She'll move on. She'll be fine. What I think she'll do forward is, it was my belief, you kind of put her away from the title picture just a little bit right now. Let Jade have her moment. Don't go for a rematch right away. But for that to happen is like, come on, man. We could have made this a competitive match where, like, it was kind of going back and forth to a certain degree. I mean, this was literally 90-10, all Jade, obviously selling the knee injury. But my goodness, could we have had 10, 15 minutes to work with here rather than just 5? But again, that's what it was. Congratulations to Jade. Do I think she deserves it? No. I think she earned the opportunity for them to put the title on her. And I think that's the thing we wanted to see, because we were going back and forth like, oh, my God, you know, did they make a mistake with Jade? Is she not what they anticipate? This is the version of Jade you and I always wanted to see. At least I could say for myself. Glad to see it. Can't wait to see what they do moving forward with it. As for Tiffany, listen, great title reign. Yes, it was kind of fluttering towards the very end because, that loss, which I thought, and I still debate, I don't think Stephanie Vaquer should have won that one. But again, the momentum was on her side. I think Tiffany would have been better for her to win that. But despite that, she ends up losing the title. And I think for her, what's best is kind of take her off TV for a little bit. Listen, she's been a workhorse too for the WWE. A lot of people don't give her credit for. She's been on TV wrestling. Give her some time. Take her off TV for a couple of weeks, then have her come back after she's nursed that knee injury, and then we go on from there. Maybe the next PLE or leading up to Survivor Series. Who knows? But yeah, congratulations to Jade, and also congratulations to Tiffany on a very impressive title reign, which would be the first of many, I feel, for Tiffany Stratton.
Obviously, she's got a lot of talent, and she'll be back. Obviously, like you said, we take her off TV for a couple of weeks, whatever. Let her just let her all reset and just process here.
Yeah, check out this comment we got here from David Byrne. Tiffy time was up with Cargill. Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
Tiffy time was definitely up, man.
Taffy time. It was taffy time tonight because that's what Jade Cargill promised. It was taffy time, but obviously it was great. Great night for her. And obviously now, if you look at this this picture that's floating now, where you have Jade Cargill with the championship, CM Punk with the championship.
And Stephanie, thank you so much for watching from the Windy City. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Stephanie Padilla. We appreciate you. Hopefully you liked Saturday night's main event and you like the show, and definitely doing it for you guys, obviously. The picture surfacing right now of Ricky Starks too in the picture, all the champions in WWE, and of course Tony Khan fumbled. If you want to say that, that's the biggest thing is Tony Khan fumbled everybody here because they all used to work in AEW. And imagine, Trendsetter, if everyone was still there. Maybe if only 3/5 of them were still there. Imagine what different that company would be. But that is star power times 10 right there. Cody, CM Punk, Jade, and Ricky Saints there. What do you think about that? When you see that picture, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Happiness.
That's one. In terms of missed opportunity. Yeah. In terms of what you had in AEW. Like, listen, it's easy for me to say that Tony Khan, you blew it. You messed up. But here's the thing. Even if they were at that company, there's no, at least from my opinion, there's no sense of direction going on with the company. So even if they stayed longer or they were able to keep them re-signed, whatever the case might be, I just don't know if they'd be going in this direction. By giving them opportunities and having the chance to showcase, I would say, a little bit more of the personality than what they were shown on AEW, it allows them to have these moments. And then I don't think it was necessarily done on purpose to slight AEW, but then you also, maybe excluded somebody else in Ethan Page and what he's done in NXT as well. Listen, these guys have talent, but unfortunately the dynamic we have in pro wrestling right now is that although the landscape is a lot different from what it was back then when we were watching it, Jeff, there are more opportunities out there. But when you have the opportunity to be on TV, you need to seize those opportunities. And all these individuals that you've seen here have showcased that as well. That's why they're in the positions they're in right now, from Jade to Ricky Saints to Ethan Page. And then you look at guys like Cody. CM Punk was also in AEW as well for a short time. Man, you had opportunities there, blown, WWE taking advantage of it. But here's the thing now, too, back to what you were saying, the point you were making before when we compared, what was going on with Jey Uso, what was going on with CM Punk. There is talent on this roster. And the women's, I would probably say the women's talent pool is a lot deeper than the men's right now, but there is talent there. Can WWE get out of its own way at times to showcase these individuals? One big test will be for this whole John Cena tournament for his final match. If a guy like Braun Breaker,
graphic there, or do we get the graphic up there?
Yeah, we'll get the graphic up there.
John Cena thing. So keep going, Trendsetter. You're talking about that, about the John Cena.
No, well, like I said, to the point was, can WWE do the right thing now and use this scenario in terms of this with the whole John Cena? The winner of this tournament will be fighting him for his last match. Can they use that in terms of using that as a tool to elevate somebody like a Braun Breaker?
I don't know, Trendsetter. That silhouette looked a lot like Gunther. I'm just kidding. It just looked like a silhouette of a. Yeah. So you got that going on. And let's reset real quick. Yeah. Let's take a look at the winners of tonight's contest. Only 4 matches, but we got Dirty Dom, Jade Cargill, CM Punk, and Cody Rhodes winning, and those are your winners for tonight on the Give Shot Network. CM Punk, obviously, a lot of fans happy about that tonight. Jade Cargill gets her win. Dirty Dom, to me, is proving to be the MVP of 2026.
He's had an impressive year, man. He really has.
Impressive year for Dominic, and and also he made the top 20 under 30 list from Bleacher Report, so he's up there too. He has had a phenomenal year. So good for Dominic Mysterio, and so we'll see, man. That's going to put a ribbon on Saturday night's main event. Obviously, now we go to Monday night, and now it all building up to War Games at Petco Park in San Diego in November the 29th. So that's going to be the weekend of Thanksgiving, right? The Thursday, and then it's the weekend of Thanksgiving. So it's Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, Thanksgiving weekend. Yeah.
Yeah. So, man, can you believe it, Trendsetter? We are in November.
I don't want to.
We are in November. I can start playing Christmas music now. That's how crazy this year has been.
I'm getting ready for my Christmas, which is WrestleMania. So I don't know about you.
I'm going to say this. WrestleMania, I don't know. This WWE's momentum could start dropping by then, because they're going to get that Saudi thing is not going to be very popular as far as here in the States, them going over there. And if WWE's not careful, and you have, again, Triple H missing Saturday night's main events and missing PLEs and stuff like that, that I don't want this company to rest on their laurels, because I think they've been resting on their laurels way too much this year. Like I said, and we'll do an end of the year review. But man, January 6th to me will go down, and listen, it goes down in infamy for a lot of things, January 6th, but to me in the wrestling world, January 6th, the infamy will be that Netflix deal, because they wrapped up a lot of stuff and they didn't have to. And to me, it's just not been the same ever since. Whether it's The Rock, whether it's Netflix, and they're booking with TKO, but a lot of the blame can go to TKO. But whether it's so many PLEs, so many special events here, all these things have led to just a very, to me, I would say the word would be, disappointing end up to the year as far as this, because WrestlePalooza left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. And then in the last 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, okay, things on up and up. Then you get this show. Yes, CM Punk is the champion, but really though, I mean, Triple H can't be there. He's not there. How important was it then? So a lot of interesting things since Trendsetter to end the night, but we're going to wrap it up here, Trendsetter. This was the HSP Saturday main event post show on the Give a Shot Network. Great to be live with you guys. Again, you can catch the replay now here on Give a Shot Network, so make sure you tune into that. If you can't watch, just make sure you listen to us on all podcast platforms, on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts. We're everywhere, so you can catch HSP there as well. Trendsetter, has been a great night. A Saturday. We got through it, Trendsetter, and you're my tag team partner. I couldn't have done it without you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that, guys. Yes, you have been watching the High Spot Podcast Saturday night's main event recap here. Man, it ended, right? What can you say? It was a show of shows that I hope I never ever see again. But again, that being said, guys, for my tag team partner Jeff Martin, I'm the Trendsetter, Brian Burga. We are the Jersey Writing Crew. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. And looking forward to the holiday season and looking forward to WrestleMania season, which is right around the corner. I think it usually starts. I know officially it starts right around Rumble time, Jeff, but when I see Survivor Series, I'm like, yes, we're one step closer. So looking forward to that, guys. So thank you so much for watching this. Thank you so much for participating in this live stream, guys. It won't be the last one we do. Obviously, a lot more coming forward towards the tail end of 2025 and leading into 2026. Really excited about that. It's a labor of love, guys, and we do it with you because we do this for one reason and one reason only. We do this for you, the
crew. See you this week, guys. Thanks again for joining us.